Peace and power. You're now back live. This is Readyo Radio. That's Readyo Radio, your emergency preparedness station, self-sufficiency network, and we are talking about martial arts. And we're just gonna jump right back into it. We got some questions from the message board. Info Keith.
There's actually two questions. The first question is it possible to learn martial arts at home? And then the follow-up question is, if you can't afford $100 per month to learn, is it still possible to learn via books or videos?
Yeah, you can learn from books and videos and YouTube and stuff like that. There have been people who have done that without any formal training, by reading the philosophical works of martial arts and then practicing different things, sparring and stuff like that. So yeah, you can, but it's always better to have a teacher who can correct you and things like that. But yeah, you can learn martial arts out of books and things like that, but it's always better to have a teacher, and you can always find free classes and people to work with and exchange and things like that.
One of the modern tools I recommend that's free, you just have to be the spearhead or the person who decides to take it upon yourself. There's a website, meetup.com, where you can create any kind of event and have people look into what you're doing and when you're going to do it and give feedback. And the one thing I highly recommend also, if you're going to do any sparring or training, to have a person. It's good to have, as good as it is to have like a hitting bag or just using emotions. There's no way to really simulate the impact. So you have a pad, or you punch somebody's hand and they kind of catch your fist, to kind of feel that force behind it, so you get an idea of what it'd be like to actually hit somebody. A lot of people may make a fist the wrong way and then they punch something and they break their finger. So you need a sparring partner who can hold the pad for you and give you something it's a little resistance as you use these motions.
Is there another question?
That was the two questions.
Oh, those two. Okay, I thought there was one question.
And so I have a question, and it kind of ties into our next segment. It's a good segue. Can you speak about the shows about martial arts? Can you speak about the traditional use of actually having a whole nation or larger group of people being martial arts, being like in different countries, martial arts is mandated, or it's at least highly encouraged at a younger age. And can you talk about some of the historical reasons and then also benefits, and because we see something drastically different in the United States today?
Well, I mean, you take your young men, the youth, and you would train them in the ways of martial arts so that they be prepared to, when warfare came, already halfway trained to be able to defend the country. Because young men fight and old men
Peace and Pussy family.
start 'em.
This is Dave Bugenshower here. I have my own announcement for you all. Kada Jolie is a bitch ass nigger, that's all.
It would be on a path of that was their play. That's what they did. That's what the sport. All of those things in male culture is to prepare the young to protect themselves, protect their family, and protect the nation. You can see the Zulu. This was part of the young boy training, through dealing with stick fighting, which later became spear and shield fighting, whether it be the Maasai, whether it be the Spartans. All of these things are part of male culture that leads the young men into being able to defend the nation.
And what of the women?
You had women warriors in certain places, not all places. Women were sometimes forced into defending themselves because they were left by the men, where the men went out to fight and people came up and they had to fight. But you had in Dahomey, you had the wives of the king, which were women who were trained in warfare from a very young age to be not only the bodyguards of the king, but also the crack troops of the army. They were much more dexterous than the men. They were faster at sword fighting. They carried 24-inch top-heavy decapitating razors. They fought the French. The French said that they were giant women, but they were just the regular little women who you would see in Dahomey or Benin today.
Nigger women are beautiful.
Were very powerful and skilled warriors.
And so, can you? We're doing a juxtaposition of what the difference between
Nigger
what
women
that
are
produces,
beautiful.
The difference between other countries and here in the U.S.
Like the impact,
Not really a country. We got to find a better word.
Well, I mean, here in the United States, you still have culture. Football is preparation for war. Baseball is preparation for war. Hockey is definitely preparation for war. Boxing is preparation for war. Basketball is strategy and preparation for war. You know, you blocking out the center. You're shooting from the 3-point area. All of that's warfare. It's strategy for warfare. No different than chess and checkers. It's preparation for warfare and the philosophy and tactics of being able to defend and go on the offensive and be able to capture the king. So all of these things in games that put people in preparation are in preparation for warfare.
We have another question. He said, police are killing us almost every day. Do you see us standing up this summer? Because from what I'm hearing, the family is tired of marching and praying.
Well, if you find out whether people will stand and you put the measure on what the oppressor will put on you. In other words, if you keep standing it, they'll keep giving it out. And until you turn around and do something different, that's the way it'll be. You know, I had the police jump me. You know, 6 police, big 4 unit, and 2 plainclothes police. You know, I was in my own neighborhood, minding my own business, going to get some juice. A person from the suburbs of the Caucasian persuasion was in my neighborhood trying to buy sexual favors from a girl for monetary, for utilizing money. The girl told him to come around in the alley. He went around in the alley. She had a big, large brother in the alley who took money, beat him up, took money from him. He ran down the street. There was a police car. He flagged the police car, said, the big black guy just took all my money. And I just happened to be coming down the street. And I guess they said that that's one big black guy as good as another big black guy. Mm-hmm. And so, to make a long story short, they tried to put the hand in my pocket. I said, don't put your hand in my pocket. You might be trying to put something in it. And they kept calling me an asshole. I said, well, I ain't going to be with one more asshole. And so the big 4 car came up, and the sergeant came up and said, you can't talk to an officer like that. I said, I talk to anybody the way they talk to me. And he said, well, if you say something else, I'm going to hit you with the flashlight. I said, well, if you swing the flashlight, it'll be the last flashlight you swing as a police officer for the Detroit Police Department. He swung the flashlight. I hit him. He hit the ground. He's still off. It's been well over 15 years. He's got a special bed. He's got, you know, and I apologize to the city of Detroit all the time because he's probably milking it a little bit, but he's off. He's still been off. From the second that I hit him, he's been off. And the rest of the police, I took the flashlights, took the guns. Well, I didn't take the guns. I slapped the guns out of their hands, took their flashlights and things like that. And then some more police cars pulled a shotgun. So I raised my hands like that and went to jail. And was down at the prosecutor's office for about a year, dealing with, you know, all the things that you deal with legally with these people, but it was the case of police brutality that went wrong for them.
That's what I think we need is more cases like that, because the same thing with my uncle. You might know him because he grew up in Detroit too, and he said plenty of times he fought back with the cops, and he went to jail for a long time, but the only way he got caught was that he was with somebody else, and he told the guy, like, I'm about to take out these cops, so just be on the lookout for me. And the guy shouted out like he know that stuff, he know martial arts. So all the cops was from back far, they pulled out guns, so they captured him like that. But I mean, that's what we need is more people to not saying we need more people to fight the police, but we just need more people to not.
Well, I ain't advocating jumping on the police, but when they're getting ready to kill you, it don't matter. It don't matter. You might as well go for the gusto. If somebody gonna hit you in the head with a flashlight, you don't just let them hit you in the head with a flashlight. If they're gonna choke you, don't just let them choke you. You fight back. It is your duty as a human being to defend yourself against all comers. The law don't mean that they can kill you if you ain't did nothing. It's your duty to oppose unjust laws. That's right. And if you don't, then you're a contributor.
And even King said that, actually.
Well, King, that's why they got King, because King changed his tune. He said these people are vicious, crazy people, and we need to start defending ourselves. And that's when they, and then when he went against the war in Vietnam, because you can't mess with these people's money. That's when they get on you. But these, many of these police are, just out cold. But the thing is that they always been out cold. Mm-hmm. They've always been doing it. Back when Detroit was the murder capital of the world, I'd say 80%. Those that wasn't been done by the Young Boys Incorporated and the A-Team and the Curry Boys and stuff like that. 80% of the murders in the city of Detroit were done by the police department. The Detroit Police Department back in the 1970s and 80s. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much any city.
Which
the biggest criminal gang in the United States is the Fraternal Order of the Police.
That's right. Can you talk more about the last part you just said? Because a lot of people don't know that it is a fraternal order.
Yeah, it's a fraternal order.
Peace and pussy fam, this is Dave once again. This motherfucker Baba Kilindi is laying. I just pulled up his records. He did try and get a fix from the prostitute.
That have a code amongst themselves that is up and above the law and their sworn duty to be of service to people and to uphold and protect the Constitution, which is the most important portion of it. The most important portion of the oath is to uphold and protect the Constitution against all those foreign and domestic who try to oppose it and infringe themselves on the people. But the police department was started for slave catching. It didn't have nothing to do with protecting nobody. You protect your own doggone self. That's what life is about. You don't have nobody protecting you unless you're a minor, unless you're a part of a family. Families protected themselves. That's why at the Council of Toledo, the Catholic Church outlawed polygamy, because families were large and powerful and families protected themselves. If you got to go to somebody's house and you the police and you have to get the father of the house, and it's the father, the mother, one child, one boy and one girl, you go to the house and you get the father. But if you go in there and he got 40 sons who got 200 sons who got then you got a logistical problem if you want to go in there and get them. And you always had folks in the neighborhood that had 13 kids and all that kind of stuff. Them wasn't the people you mess with. You mess with the people who got 2 kids, not the people that got 13. Okay.
Last question before we go to break from our message board. He says, what is it going to take for the masses of black people to wake up and see what's going on in this country?
To start ingesting tryptamine based hallucinogens so that they can understand
peace and power,
that we are more than just
Readyo
human
Radio,
self, and
Readyo
preach that
Radio
human self in into the
ReadyoRadio.com, episode 34.
transhuman realms
And,
into
before we
an
left
organic
off, we
singularity.
talked about the origins of martial arts, and
I would say in the layman's term.
translate for the people.
Oh,
So just
well,
get.
I guess when we come back from the break.
Oh yeah, we can get more into that after the break because that. Yeah,
That was deep. I got it.
mycelium.
I just want to be able to type that.
Network.
So maybe I didn't get it.
The trees use it all day.
Yeah, that's right. So we're gonna come back after this break with more on that topic, because we don't want to get into it too much and then just be cut off, So again, this is Readyo Radio. It's the only place you can come to and online and get this type of raw information straight off the community people. People in our community coming on and sharing this information with you, with us, and we're just grateful to be in a position where, while we can share media and information and our own propaganda, if you will, that we want to take hold in the hearts and minds of our people. And so please keep posting your questions. We'll keep getting to them. We have about 20 minutes left in the show. We'll be right back after these songs. T-Folk in the building, always on the airways. Team Hotep, Dula D on the computer screens. Peace and power. Be right back.